All right, now the next thing that I'm gonna make for you, or show you how to make today, is the Parmesan broccoli and cauliflower. Parmesan roasted broccoli and cauliflower. So you wanna go to the grocery store and just get a head of cauliflower, or if you wanna get the pre-cut broccoli and cauliflower, you can do that too. I think this is a little less expensive, and you can still portion it up and put different portions in baggies and throw them in your refrigerator so that you have them for multiple nights. But you start with a head. And with cauliflower, if you're wondering how to cut it, it's not as tricky as it looks. I just cut it right in half. And then I just cut out the center. It doesn't have to be, pretty or anything like that. It's just a way of getting that core, that center out, leaving you with the florets. And then I cut them down into kind of bite-sized pieces, or a little bit bigger than bite-sized, but just in small florets. I throw them in a bowl. So I do that with the broccoli. I do that with the cauliflower. And then the broccoli, similarly, I just cut off all the stems. And then I'm kind of left with the florets. And I might cut them in half or quarter them, again, depending on how big I want them to be. I want the broccoli and the cauliflower to be kind of similar size. You can do just broccoli, you can do just cauliflower, or you can mix the two, whatever your preference is. You can leave the stems on if you like the stems, or you can cut them off. I prefer to cut them off. All right, and so you're gonna cut up your broccoli and your cauliflower so that you have as much broccoli and cauliflower as you want to roast. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the rest of this up, and then I'll show you how to make it once I'm done with that. All right, so now I've got all the cauliflower and broccoli cut up and in a bowl. Now, for this recipe, it's super simple. You just want the broccoli and the cauliflower. You do need olive oil, salt and pepper, and Parmesan. That's all it is, super simple. So what we're gonna do now is we're actually gonna pour some olive oil over the broccoli and cauliflower. This isn't gonna be enough, so I'm actually gonna grab my big container. You don't wanna totally saturate the vegetables with olive oil, but you do wanna lightly coat it. And it might look like I'm putting a lot on, but there's a lot of broccoli and cauliflower here. If you're doing single servings, you're gonna be able to use something like this perfectly fine. But I'm gonna go ahead and pour some on here. And then take a spatula, a wooden spoon, whatever you've got, and just mix them around so you can coat the vegetables in the olive oil, just so that they glisten. Just makes them look kind of wet around all the edges here. You don't want them to look dry. There we go. And then once you've got the olive oil coated nicely across all your vegetables, and oh, by the way, you can roast any vegetables like this. It's the same kind of recipe in terms of cutting up your vegetables, pouring a little olive oil on them, and then laying them out on a prepared baking sheet with your parchment paper once again. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead now and pour the vegetables out on the parchment on the baking dish. And you just wanna kind of move them around so that it's a single layer of vegetables. I don't sweat it too much if they're kind of, overlapping a little bit, but it'll cook more evenly. And all of the pieces will cook if it's just one single layer, whereas if it's doubled up or mounded, then it'll cook different, and you won't have consistency across all your vegetables. Okay, so now I've got the vegetables in the baking dish. I'm just gonna take some salt and pepper, and I'm just gonna lightly sprinkle salt and pepper across all your vegetables. Just to taste. If you like it a little saltier, great. If you like it a little pepperier, that's a word, great. And then we're going to put it into a 400-degree oven. So again, before you start cooking or before you start preparing it, you might want to turn your oven on to 400. That way it has time to heat up. So once the oven is heated, we'll pop in the broccoli and the cauliflower into the 400-degree oven, and we're going to put them in there for about 20 minutes. And then we're going to take it out and we'll put the Parmesan on and then pop it back into the oven. So 20-25 minutes we'll do as we get started. Okay, so the broccoli and cauliflower has been cooking for 20 minutes at 400. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out, and we're going to put the Parmesan on top. Okay, so you can get any kind of Parmesan is going to work. It can be grated, it can be shaved, it can even be powder Parmesan if that's what you have or what you can afford. But I'm just going to take this as shaved Parmesan, and you can put as much cheese or as little cheese depending on your preferences. And I'm just going to sprinkle the Parmesan all over the top of the vegetables. Like so. I like a lot of cheese. I'm a sucker for it. And then we're going to pop it back in the oven, and cooking times can kind of vary. Again, it depends on how crispy you want your Parmesan cheese. You can pop it back in for 5 minutes and the cheese will be really gooey. You could pop it back in for 8 minutes and it will start to kind of brown, which is kind of yummy. And you could cook it for 10 minutes, which will make it more firm and brown all over. I think we'll go ahead and do about 6 to 8 minutes and see what it looks like. We'll start with 6 and we'll go from there. Okay, so we've had the broccoli and cauliflower with the Parmesan cheese in the oven for about 6 minutes. Let's check it out. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. All right, so 6 minutes, you can see it's just made it nice and gooey. We could cook it a couple minutes longer, and like I said, it will brown up a little bit. It's good either way. We'll go ahead and leave this for tonight. You can see super, super easy to make your cauliflower and broccoli Parmesan roasted in the oven. Hope you enjoy it. Make sure you come home for dinner. Love you guys.